crafternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stampin' Chat Live. I'm Gina from Gina K Designs, coming to you from my home studio. It is so great to see all of you here today, and we're going to have a lot of fun because we are going to do some 3D embossing folder stuff. Now, I know for some of you, 3D embossing folders are new, and maybe you don't even really understand the difference between a 2D and a 3D embossing folder. I was like that when I first got my first 3D embossing folder. I was like, what's the big deal? But then after I started looking at it and I realized what you can do with them and how cool they are, kind of got hooked, and that's when we started to work with Memory Box to create our own line of 3D embossing folders. So we put an embossing folder in our brand new card kit that a lot of you are still waiting for. It is on its way to you, we promise, and I'm just excited to be able to show you how to use these, especially with the Intracut die cutting machine, because it is a little bit different. And I don't know how to do it with every single die cutting machine because every die cutting machine is different. Their sandwiches are different for 3D folders. But I can show you what to do with the Intracut, and maybe that will help you determine what to do with your own machine when you see what I do. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to show you a couple different ways to use the folder too, as far as how to die cut and use it versus just using it on plain cardstock or using it with the stamped image. So lots of different ways to do that. And I'm also going to show you how to use it with Poly-Glaze sheets for those of you that picked up the add-on Poly-Glaze. It's kind of the same thing if you were going to die cut and emboss too in gold. It's the same technique, so it'll work for that as well. But before we get started, let's say hello to Tom. Hey, Tom.
Happy homespun crafternoon.
How are you in the dark dead space over there?
Well, better than horrible.
It's great to see you. You look like you're kind of sitting on top of my ink pad rack here.
Yes. Is that what it looks like?
Yeah, kind of.
Oh, yeah. There I am.
Like the top of a cake.
No, just in front of the closet.
Yep. Just in front of the closet. Yep. Well, yeah. It's good to see you. Do you have a word of the day planned for today?
Oh, I have 3 words of the day related.
3 related. They're always fun.
You know, when you get
succession.
one, you can't tell which one, and you got to do them all.
Yes, I do. I know exactly what you mean. And we're excited about that, to have 3 words of the day from you. That'll be awesome. And then I also want to say a big shout out to Brianne. Do you see Brianne in the comments? She's already starting. Brianne Loveland is here, and she is helping everybody with links. So if you are looking for any of the products that we use today, at least you'll be able to get the link. Now, the thing about the card kit is it did sell out, which is really interesting because our last couple of card kits have not sold out. So we did buy heavy on the kit, but this one was just really popular. And that's just one of those things. You never know what's going to happen with a card kit. So anytime you see a Gina K card kit or any card kit that I'm part of, I would definitely say get it if you like it, because you just never know what's going to happen. This one lasted about 10 days, right, Tom? 10 days in, we sold out.
Yes,
so,
I think so.
But we do have a limited supply of this 3D embossing folder that will go into our inventory when our next card kit debuts. So for those of you that didn't get it, you will be able to pick this up, but it's very limited, and it does take about 4 or 5 months to get them back in stock. So it's going to take a little while. And this is one of those exclusive Gina K Designs products. These are only going to be available in our store, and that has to do with the pricing. These are very, very expensive for us because, number one, I don't do the art, and number 2, I don't manufacture these. These are all done through a partner company that we're working with, so the price is very different than if we had done them ourselves. We don't mind that, though, because the artwork is spectacular and we know the quality is great, and it's not something I have a lot of expertise in, and we always want to bring you the best products we can. So these will always be an exclusive Gina K Designs product. All right, well, with that being said, and speaking about card kits, I want to tell you guys about a class that I am doing. If any of you are interested, it's a free class, and let me tell you a little bit about it. So I'm going to be doing a free class on the Simon Says Stamp YouTube channel. And that is coming up on Friday, June 20th. I will be live on the Simon Says Stamp YouTube channel doing a class featuring an exclusive card kit that I designed with Simon Says Stamp, and it's called Bold Blooms. It's an amazing card kit. I love this kit so much. It's got this fantastic, huge, bold floral stamp set. It's got a coordinating die set that's all detabbed, just like Gina K Designs dies. It's got a cover plate, which you can kind of see in that picture hiding behind that red blending brush. And then it's got 4 exclusive brand new Gina K Designs ink colors. Now those colors will eventually go into our inventory, but if you want them right away, these colors are amazing. The colors are called, and let me put my glasses on so I can read them, Kelly Green, which is the most beautiful, bright, vibrant primary green, something we do not have in our collection. Petunia, which is a gorgeous pink. Wait till you see the way it dries, like when they dry up to the color. Oh my gosh, it is beautiful. Marigold, which is a deep gold. So it would be the next in line after our new Butterscotch. So if you're looking for something that's going to blend with sweet corn and butterscotch, this is going to be your 3rd color. And then Cadet Blue, which is a blue that we've never had anything like. This picture is a little deceiving. It's actually a really neat, almost steel kind of blue, and it is spectacular. And then you're going to get 4 Simon ink colors, including their violet, their apple, that orange one that is cut off, so I don't know the name of it because I don't have it in front of me, and Simon's awesome black ink cube. You're going to get 7 blending brushes. And these blending brushes, I've tested them. I'm going to be using them in class. They are of that same Gina K quality that I love, the soft bristle. You're going to get the Positively Everything tool there. It's that paw. I'm going to be putting my coffee on it to keep it away from my desktop, but you can do anything with that. You can, I think one of the things that I love about that Positively tool is all those little ridges in it. You can put a little soap on there, or you could put just pour a little alcohol into one of those, and you can rub your blending brushes on them to clean them. And also, it's a great place to rest your tidy towel. If you always see it there, you put your tidy towel on it, you're never going to inadvertently put your tidy towel on a piece of cardstock. It's got all the cardstock that you need for everything, and it's got a fantastic package of embellishments. They're just a beautiful Aurora Borealis sequin. So we're going to have a lot of fun with that, and I can't wait until that class. Now, the class is free on the Simon Says Stamp website, but if you'd like to buy that kit, you can, and you'll find that over on Simon's website at simonsaysstamp.com. So check that out. Don't miss that class. We're going to have a lot of fun in that. We're going to be making 3 really beautiful bright cards together, and then I'm going to show you some additional cards that you can make. And then there's 2 more classes the next day, one with Nicole Spohr and one with Kathi Zielski, where they will be sharing videos on the Simon Says Stamp YouTube channel with more inspiration. So tons of education and card ideas. So check it out because it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, and one more thing I want to talk to you guys about is shipping. Shipping times are long right now. We really got hit hard because you guys really loved our May release. And so shipping times are a little long right now. We're at about 17 business days. We're doing the best that we can. We've got 4 ship teams working every single day, but we can only get between 400 and 500 orders out a day. So we are at about 17 days to get everything to you. And the problem is, that doesn't include weekends, and it doesn't include the holiday that's coming up. And we give our entire staff off Memorial Day. So everybody's going to be home enjoying family time from Gina K Designs. So, just give us a little bit of grace. We really appreciate that. We appreciate your patience, and we appreciate your loyalty and your love that you gave us for that release. But we promise you, your order is coming, and I'm going to keep inspiring you with stuff from that kit. So, you know, we've got a lot of projects planned. And when you get it, you'll have all these videos ready to just go and use at your own pace to make projects with me. Okay, well, with that in mind, let's take a look at this embossing folder. I'm really excited.
The class will be recorded, right?
Yes, the class will be recorded, because when I go live, just like here, then there's the replay. You can always go back. In fact, for some of you, you might just want to participate in the live class as somebody watching so that you can ask questions and then go back and replay the class again. And then you can like pause in between steps and stuff. But yes, that class will be available. As long as Simon Says Stamps has a YouTube channel, that class will live on there and you can always refer back to it. Okay. All right. Hey, Kathi Zilski, I hear that you're going to be rocking that Simon class too. I'm really excited that you're one of the guest designers for that as well. Okay, so let's take a look at the Ruffled Blooms folder. So this is the way it comes. It comes in this package, and then there's also a single die that cuts one of the flowers out. Now this is a die that is in addition to the Stampin' Die bundle that's also in the kit, which is this stamp set along with this die set. Now you can see the die for this this stamp and this embossing folder and the Poly-Glaze and all is just one big die. It cuts the whole thing out. It does cut out all the little areas in the, you know, on the insides, but you don't cut a single flower with this. So the single flower die is in this package, and this will cut, I believe it's this one, but we'll play with it. It could be this one. I've got to just line it up and see. So let's see, did I pull that die up? I have one here. So let's just take a look. Oh, I think it's this one right here. So this is the flower that that die is going to cut out, just like that. So that comes in the package. Now, on the back here, we put instructions on how to cut or how to emboss this embossing folder using your Intracut cutting machine. And the reason we added those instructions is because you guys know that the Intracut has a 3D embossing dial. But for these folders and all of the memory box folders, and we found this out with other folders too, like Simon Says Stamp folders, they have a certain thickness that requires you to use the 2D embossing setting. So we wanted to make sure that it was right on the package. What you're going to do is you're going to turn the setting dial and set it to 2D emboss. 2D, not 3D, 2D. And then you're going to set the tension dial to 3. So I'm going to pull the die cutting machine out over here, and we're going to take a look at that together. Now, sorry for my what is it called, Tom?
Focus.
Focus, yes, thank you. Sorry for my focus. I intentionally did not set the focus because I want to be able to bring this cardstock up very close to the camera, and it needs to reset in order to do that. So I apologize for those moments where it's going to get a little blurry. But on the side of the Intracut machine, you have a die cut, a letterpress or 2D emboss, and then a 3D emboss. Now, for some embossing folders, the 3D emboss setting works perfectly. For this one, you're going to set it to the 2D emboss. And then, normally, when we first start, we set our tension dial. This is the press and twist tension dial. If you turn it up, let me move up a little bit here. If you turn it to the right, it's going to get tighter. If you turn it to the left, it's going to get looser. Now, 2D embossing folders are much thinner. I have one here somewhere. Let me see if I have one that I can pull out of the package. I do. Here's one I can pull right out of this package here, just so that you guys can see the difference. And I'm sure that you have these at home, but here is a 2D embossing folder. Here's a 3D embossing folder. So obviously, when you have something set on 2D, it doesn't need as much space in between, right? So we need to loosen this, because this down here, because we don't want it to be quite as tight as we have it set for 2D. So we're going to take it down to the 3 mark. So when you do this, you press the dial in and then you turn it down to whatever number you want it to. So I'm going to turn mine down to 3. And that is the setting for all of the Gina K Designs 3D embossing folders. And I say all because we have a warehouse full of designs right now waiting to release. And we are going to be rolling these out throughout the year. And we're very excited about some of these designs. So we want you to know how to use it with your Intracut. So I'm going to open up my Intracut here. And I have this, at home I have this cushiony thing that, I got this on Amazon. But it's not very good at holding the Intracut in place because it's textured. But I wanted this to match my studio one, which is a gray tabletop. So a couple things that I want to share with you here. Let's see. I want to show you, before I do this, I want to show you a couple of the different textures that I used. A couple of the different papers that I used here. Okay, so first I want to show you what this looks like on white, and we're going to do this together. So let me zoom in real close here. Now you can see, look at that. Now the difference between a 2D and a 3D embossing folder is, with a 2D embossing folder, you have 2 dimensions, right? You've got the flat part of the card. I'm just going to look here on my phone to see how, if we've got a good bright enough setting here. Oh yeah, I think you guys, I have the camera set a little dark because when I go too light, it washes everything out and you can't see. But you get two dimensions. You get the flat part, and then you get the raised design, which is all 1 dimension, right? So you get this dimension, and then this dimension is the 2D. With 3D, you get an extra layer of dimensions. So you have the flat part in the back, and you've got parts that are raised, and then you've got other parts that are raised in front of those parts. And this, you know, just makes it look so amazing. You can see it a little better here in the back too. You can see how this part is sunk in, but this goes way down in. So I hope that you can see all of that beautiful dimension and detail, even white on white. Okay, now I wanted to show you what it looks like on some other colors here. So this is Craft. Isn't that beautiful? It is so pretty with Craft. Now, when you do something like Craft, let's zoom in a little bit here. I'm going to take my time. Not that I'm trying to, but you know, the one at work is set so fast and the one here is set nice and slow, but almost too slow. So, you know, happy medium, but whatever. Okay, so you can take something like a pigment ink. This is the Gina K Designs white pigment ink, and let me get one of my clean white ink stands because I bought brand new ones for my home studio. And Brienne, please share your ink stands. I have white ones at home and black ones at work, and I love them both. Okay, so you can take a little bit of white pigment ink, and you can just kind of add a little bit of pigment ink on top of a design like this, just to bring out that beautiful dimension and the beautiful design. Look at how pretty that looks. Just dabbing that white pigment ink right on top of there. So let's say you, and you know, I'm only showing you this because this is the only folder that we've released so far. But let's say, for example, you had a snowflake 3D embossing folder and you wanted to do all white snowflakes. You could definitely do that. You could also do, you know, white daisies or anything like that. So I just love how beautiful this looks. I just think it looks so good. It just brings everything out so beautifully. So that's one way that you can accentuate the image on here and keeping it simple. You know, you don't have to, well, you could use, actually, it would make a lot more sense if I had used the stencil because I could have covered and not gotten any on the outside here, but it has the coloring stencil. So you could put those up and then you could tap this white ink, ivory ink, whatever you want on top to bring out that design. Okay. So that's one thing that you can do. Now the next thing that you can do is, I want to show you this. I picked up some Delicata ink, and that is not something that we sell on our website, but if you are purchasing the Simon kit, you could always go over to their website because I know they have it. And I picked up some gold Delicata ink. And can you see that little bit of shine there in that ink? I did the same kind of thing that I just did with the pigment ink, but I just put gold ink over on just the plain white cardstock. So isn't this beautiful? I wish you would take close shots because it's so hard to see when you take a close-up on your cards. Wish you would just take close shots. Well, I hope this is close enough for you to be able to see, Jackie. But you can really see all of the 3D detail in that with that gold Delicata ink. And you might have gold ink from another company. You can certainly use that as well. Silver ink. I mean, like this design by itself with just some gold ink and then doing a tone-on-tone look on white cardstock. Wouldn't that be just a gorgeous 50th anniversary look? Okay.
Couple of quick questions?
Yes.
Okay, from Karen, she said, are the Gina K 3D embossing folders not as thick as some other 3D embossing folders then?
I think they're not as thick, but I'm not 100% sure. They may be a little thicker. I don't know. I just know that on the Intracut, like when I did a Sizzix folder, I used the 3D setting, but when I do the Gina K folder, or like a Simon folder, I think a Spellbinders folder worked better on the 2D setting using this sandwich. So some of them are thicker, some of them are thinner. Never force it. Okay, that's going to be my main thing. Never force it. If you normally use a certain sandwich with your platinum for the embossing folders that you use and you start doing this and it feels too tight, back off and try something different because you don't want to break your machine and you don't want to bend. All embossing folders are going to bend a little bit. You can, especially these 3D ones, they're going to flex a little bit, but it's fine. You can still use them with no problem. But you don't want to bend it so that it's like, you know, whoop, completely bent. So yeah, the Tim Holtz folders used the 3D setting on the machine. Okay, so this has the Delicata metallic ink on it. Now I want to show you what it looks like just with gold cardstock. So I found one of our old pieces of our gold, antique gold. It was a very kind of a brushed gold, and I did this with that folder, and look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So again, like, wouldn't that be a great 50th anniversary card? So simple, and just have a nice happy 50th. You could do it in silver metallic cardstock. Yeah, Catherine, I think you're right. Sizzix folders are super thick. I think they're thicker than what a lot of the smaller companies get manufactured. Okay. Carrie, you could check with Simon Says Stamp, and maybe Brienne could look, but Brienne is linking most of the things to Gina K Designs. I don't know how many windows she has open, but definitely if you go to Simon Says Stamp or any of our retail partners and just type in Delicata ink, you'll find it. Okay, and then let's see here. I wanted to show you a couple of the cards that I shared on release night. So here's the first one I shared on release night. I used Master Layouts 20 for this card and Master Layouts 8. So Master Layouts 20 has this big 5x7 frame. And then I used the shadow layer from Master Layouts 8, which is our 5x7 die set. And then, of course, I put that on a 10x7 card base that I folded in half at 5. And these are our new sequins. Aren't they pretty? They're flat sequins, so they're a little different than the other sequins in our collection. These are our crystal clear flat sequins that we just released. And then I just die cut the words from the set, "Friend, you make my world a better place." So that was one card that I shared on release party night. Then another card that I shared that did not use the embossing folder, but I do want to show you how beautiful it works, is the stamp set. And I used the coloring stencils on this, and you can see I used some embellishments here. These are our new iridescent dots. And they are so pretty. They're just so sparkly. And I mixed those with our black pearls. And I just colored this one with our lilac inks and lavender. So that's just plain, no embossing at all. So you can see the difference, right? When you have no embossing versus the three-dimensional embossing. All right. Then I also made this card, and this is what I'd like to make today, but I'm going to not use Master Layouts 20. Instead, I'm just going to do it plain with Master Layouts 8. But this one, I just used the embossing folder and then the coloring stencils to color the design. So this is what we're going to do today. All right. Okay. So, and I used the carnations for this. Light carnation and medium carnation, and then dark carnation in the center. And I used the spruces for the leaves. Alrighty. Now, one more thing I want to show you, and I'll show you how easy it is to line this up, but I did a Poly-Glaze version of the 3D embossing folder. So this is the coordinating Poly-Glaze sheets. And I foiled this, and then I ran it through the embossing folder, and I want to show you what that looks like. Of course, you can see it's got all the embossing in there. But how much different that looks than just plain flat Poly-Glaze when you get all of the beautiful embossing in there. So I'm going to demonstrate this for you today too, because I want to show you how easy it is to line this up after you've cut it out. All right, so let's get started with embossing. Now, there are some tips and tricks that some people really like with embossing that I don't always do, but I want to share them with you because a lot of people do like them and they work for a lot of people. Okay, so if, depending on the cardstock, because different brands of cardstock work differently, some people have a little bit of trouble with cracking, where the cardstock cracks. Now, I didn't have too much trouble on mine. You might see a tiny little spot. Let me see if I can zoom in here and get that clear. Come on, focus. Let's try this. We'll bring this one up because there's a lot more detail, and then we'll bring this one up to it. Okay. So right here, you might see a tiny little pinch on that petal. So sometimes that's going to happen. There might be little areas that you get some cracking. Now, some people like to do this tip to avoid that. So I'm going to do it on a darker piece of cardstock. Now, these are considered 5x7 folders. This is a 5x7 piece of cardstock, so it is a little bit smaller than a 5x7. These are considered 5x7 embossing folders, and you can see that is definitely a true 5x7, but these are pretty close. And the reason we call them 5x7 is because that whole design will fit on a 5x7 card front. They are a little bit smaller though, and it has to do with the tooling and the machinery. If we made them a true 5x7, it would be a lot more expensive. Now, what some people like to do is they like to take a water bottle and they like to have a light mist. So Tom, can you go to the front shot for a second? All right, and all they do is they just take their water and they just mist the surface of the cardstock. It like puts a little bit of humidity into the cardstock and it makes it work a little bit better. So then I'm going to place this into this embossing folder. I really should have cut it a little smaller, but that's all right. And I'm going to use my white plate, my platform, and then I'm going to put my embossing folder in, no top plate. So this might be a reason why some people, reached out to me and said, I can't get it to go through, and I use the instructions on the back of the package. The one thing that it does say here is run the folder through the intercut on a platform, meaning this platform, no top plate needed. So you don't use the top plate. And then you can just run that through. And it runs through really easily. Okay. You can see I crinkled the bottom because it was too big, but that won't hurt the design. And you can see that. Look at that beautiful texture you have in there. Now, I definitely like to use smaller pieces of cardstock, but you see all that texture? Beautiful. So Janice, all you have to do if you want to convert it into an A2 card is, for example, let's say you wanted to use this. You would just put it onto your A2 card and you could trim off anything that was hanging off the edge and use it on an A2. So, you know, this is a perfect size floral. Here, this is an A2. This is a card I made a while back. This is an A2. So using it on an A2 is really no different. I just wanted to make a 5x7 today. I don't have to. I can make an A2 since you've seen the 5x7, and I can show you how to do that today. But that's all I would do. I would just take it like right to the edge like that and just trim off the excess, depending on how high up you want it. Just like that. Okay. So I hope that that helps. But yeah, I could turn this into an, maybe I will do that. Maybe that's a good idea. I could make an A2 card today since we've already seen the 5x7s. Okay, now I'm going to emboss on a white piece here, and I'm going to do this one with no water. All right, so I do want to get as much of the bottom of the design, and you can see the design is cut off. So I'm going to take it right to the end of the design, and if you can't see it, you can always turn it this way to see. You know, just place your paper right to the edge of the design and then hold it shut and feed it through. Okay. And then you can decide if you want it pressed even deeper. You can do that, but look at how beautiful that is. That's just beautiful. But if you want it pressed deeper, you can certainly do it, you know, a little bit tighter, but I don't really think it needs to be any deeper than that. I don't know what else you'd get out of that except maybe some cracking.
And Agnes wants to know, what is the best cardstock weight to use for 3D embossing folders?
So this is 80 pound and this is 100 pound. So we'll run this one through. You know, I want to do a small one here. This is 100 pound. Just so that you can see both. I think 80 pound works great. I think 100 pound works great. I don't know that I would use the 120 pound. That might be a little much, but I think this works great. So the coloring stencils, you have to shift them. They are not made to do every flower all at once or every leaf all at once. And the reason why is because they are bigger than the flowers on purpose so that they fit down around the puffiness of these flowers. So as I stencil these, you're going to see me shift things around. They are actually stretched out a little bit for that purpose. So before I get into that, let's do the Poly-Glaze and then we'll get into the stenciling. So I've got my fuse here. Let me turn that on because I want to show you how to do the Poly-Glaze, because a lot of people were saying, oh, I like to do the coloring stencils first, or I like to do the die cutting first, or I like to run it through the embossing folder and then die cut it. I don't do it that way. I do everything to it first, and then the last thing I do is run it through the embossing folder, unless I'm not going to cut it. If I'm not going to die cut it, which I'm not going to die cut the card that I make today, then you don't have to do it in that order. But it really makes sense to color. It really makes sense to Poly-Glaze and die cut first, because what happens is when you die cut it, you're putting pressure on it, right? And it smashes it down. So if you already ran it through your embossing folder, then you're going to press down all that beautiful embossing. So cut it first and then run it through the embossing folder. Let me show you. I think visual is always better, right? Okay. All right. So Tom, if you see questions, let me know. Okay, so This Poly-Glaze pack is just beautiful. And I think I'm going to do my greetings in Poly-Glaze no matter what here. I think I'm going to do sending you a long distance hug. I just think that that is such a great sentiment for anybody that's struggling. You know, it makes a great sympathy card. It's great for anybody that, you know, you have a friend that lives far away. I think that's going to be a good one for me to do. So I'm going to find the word sending. Where is that? Here it is. Right here off to the side. We be running the folder in the embossing machine slow. Will running the make... No, Marianne, it won't make a difference. Running it through slowly or quickly through the machine does not make any difference at all. The pressure is going to be the same no matter what the speed. So what I would suggest is if you want more pressure, then just increase the tension a little bit. Just try it a little bit and see. Remember, you can run it through again. You just put it back into the folder. It's not like you're wasting cardstock or anything. You can put it back in again and run it through again.
Peggy said, when I embossed this using the directions provided, I got creases on the sides. What did I do wrong?
Your cardstock was probably too big. I mean, I have a few little creases here. I don't know if you could see these little creases right here. You could just flatten those out, maybe using your the tool from your scoring board. I don't think that that looks so bad. That just happens sometimes with embossing folders, but you know, I mean, I've got them in these cards, but I guess the layout that I did, you can't really see it because it's kind of hidden under here. But sometimes that happens.
It seems like there is a little bit of room for like tweaking here, you know, because I mean, would changing just minutely that setting on the dial have any effect or no?
Yes, it absolutely would. Absolutely it would have some effect. So, you know, it really is about just trying. Hey, Tom, can you do me a favor? In my fuse box over there, can you get the little pack that came with it? It has my carrier sheet, and I don't have an open carrier sheet here. Okay, I don't even have a Swiffer, so we're really like just flying by the seat of our pants. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just cut this foil out. I don't need all of this, so I'll save some of this so I can use it for my greetings. And then, yeah, you can give me that. Thank you so much.
Somebody asked too, what she misplaced her carrier sheet, wanted to know if there's anything else she could use.
You can use, well, some people just use a piece of copy paper. The reason why we love the carrier sheets is because they're made of a type of plastic that adds extra heat. You know, this really retains heat and it really helps get this hotter. I know that ThermoWeb sells carrier sheets. They call carrier sheets, which is parchment paper that's coated with silicone on the inside. They're like silicone lined. But we also have carrier sheets on our website that you can buy replacements. So I don't have a Swiffer duster here, so I'm just hoping for the best. We'll see. Will you be hanging onto the Canadian orders until the strike is over? Brenda, that is not our plan right now. But if you want us to do that, you can touch base with customer service and let them know, and we might be able to do that for you. The other thing is we knew that that the Canadian orders, that Canada was going to have a postal strike. Our UPS rep let us know that that was coming. So we actually shipped all of the Canadian orders from release night out to avoid the strike. So there wasn't that many, it was just a handful, but we definitely made sure that we got them out. So if you ordered on release night or right around there, your order probably already shipped. Otherwise, if you've placed an order since then and you didn't get a shipping notice, then you can contact customer service and see if they can hold them. Okay, so there we go. Look how gorgeous this is. Isn't that beautiful, that design? Love it. Love it. Every little bit of that foiled beautifully. Okay. And then this could be used with white or black, like black toner sheets or white Poly-Glaze sheets, but that's for another day. Now let me get these. I know I'm doing this without a Swiffer, but luckily I did dust in here the other day, so we should be fairly dust-free. There's always dust. But we'll hope for the best. I just want to use these on my card today. These greetings. And then we're going to die cut all of this, and then we're going to use coloring stencils. Yeah, we were a little worried about our Canadian friends because we know that last time we were like, oh, they're having a postal strike in Canada. Don't worry about it. It'll be done in no time. And it went on forever, you guys. And we felt so bad for our Canadian friends. We were holding all the orders and we held them in Sammy's office. Sammy's my executive assistant. She's amazing. And we held them all in Sammy's office, and they started overflowing into the warehouse. We had 500 orders between her office and the warehouse just piled up. And we didn't want to see that happen again because, number one, it's scary to like have orders all over the place like that. We don't like that. We want to get your orders out. And number two, we knew that you guys would have to wait forever. So we were hoping that we could beat the strike. And hopefully we did. We'll see. They probably just get held in Canada if they get there, now. All right, so there's the sending. And here is sending you a long distance hug. Oh, I love these. Okay, so that's all the fusing we're gonna do today. Now let me get my, the die cutting machine back here because we're gonna cut this and then I'm gonna show you how to emboss it. Yeah, normally we don't do stuff like that unless, it's an emergency, but I'm sure all my American friends feel for our Canadian friends. Having to go through a postal strike is no fun, especially when you have things ordered and, gosh, think about it. I get a lot of my medications delivered through the post office. I can't imagine what a hardship that is for people. So we didn't want to be part of the hardship. We wanted to just get them out. Okay, so now I got to remember to turn this back to die cutting, and I'm going to turn it back to 0 here. And then we are going to cut this flower out using the coordinating die set called Ruffled Blooms. Now, one thing, somebody had sent us a picture and they were very concerned because when they put this onto their stamped image, they thought that these bars here going across were going to like cut the petals off and stuff. They don't. The reason why those bars are there is because we've got all these openings now that get cut out and fall out. And those bars don't touch your paper really. I mean, they'll touch it a little bit, but they don't cut. So if you see anything on the die that looks like it's going to cut the image or cut the greeting, it won't, I promise you. I test all of the dies as soon as they come in and to make sure that they work properly. And they do. All right, I don't know where my Masking Magic strips went. So I'll use some pixie tape for this. I'm just going to put the pixie tape right on the outside edge of this just to hold it in place. And we're going to cut this. We really could make this into the card too. But I know you guys want to see the stenciled on the white, what that looks like. All right, now I'm going to cut this out. And I think that you'll see how easy this lines up. This is the thing that I think a lot of people are nervous about. Like, well, how am I going to be able to line that up with that embossing folder? So you can see how that cut out. See all the innards that cut out? That's what all those crossbars are for. And you can see it's still beautiful, shiny. All right. Now I'm going to set the machine back to 2D embossing, and I'm going to bring that tension back up to 3. We're back down to 3. I'm loosening it a little bit. Now, you want to make sure that you've got the right side of the embossing folder here when you do this. Now, it's easy to tell because the design should be facing the same direction. If it's this way, you're going to be like, nope, that doesn't work. But if you want to make it easy for yourself just to always know which side is the right side, you can always just put a little Sharpie note here that just says front, or a label on there that says front. But what you're going to do is you are going to line this up. Now, let's see here. You're going to line this up so that the lines go right over the lines on the embossing folder. So, just got to shimmy it a little bit and make sure that it looks perfect. And once it looks perfect, if you want, you can tape it to the back. I'll do that just to show you. I don't think you need to, but you could tape it to the back with a little pixie tape. You could tape it in a couple spots. But can you see that that is lined up really easily? It's easy because you can see the lines in the folder. Like, I don't know if you can, if I like stagger it a little bit, can you see how it's off? Can they see that, Tom?
Oh yeah.
How it's off, and then
Yep.
you know, you're just going to shimmy that until that just disappears. And once that disappears, then everything is lined up properly.
Got a question here from Diane. She's a newbie to your videos, and she said, I was wondering when I might be able to purchase this kit. So I don't...
Well, this kit is sold out, and once a kit sells out, we don't bring the kit back, but we bring all the pieces of the kit back that can be purchased a la carte. So, in our next release, we'll have the pieces that you can buy separately. Okay. Alrighty. Yeah, I can show you the single die one too. Alright, now you can see that's all embossed in there. And look at that. Oh, I love the dimension that you get with that. Isn't that gorgeous? And now it just looks like the gold lines just surround the outside of the design. It's so pretty. Okay, so, see, I like using Masking Magic just a little bit better than any other kind of tape because it doesn't tear the paper even when it's stuck on there, but I can be gentle. There we go. Okay, like that. Now, you can also emboss just that single piece. So let me get just a plain piece of white cardstock here. And I gotta find the die. I put it down somewhere. Here it is. All right, I'm gonna cut a single one of those flowers. This is the one that comes in the embossing folder package. If that ever happens, that means you didn't turn your dials back. It just slides right through to the other side. I know, Scott, I love all of that, all the center. Oh, Kathy loves all the delicate. Yeah, I love it too. I love how everything just falls out and it's just kind of free of all that inside stuff. Love that. Okay, so here we go. Now, let's take a look. Now, this is the way I cut it out. Let me just cut it out again. One thing that really helps is if you look at the embossing first, you look at the embossing folder. This is really distracting with all these colors on here. Let's see if this helps to see. All right, and you line up, gotta just play with it. There we go. So you line it up on the flower. Then using that same orientation, just cut the flower out. Then it'll be a lot easier for you to figure out where that's supposed to go. But I believe...
Darlene said she thinks you have it on 2D, not 3D.
I have it on die cut right now.
Everything's right?
Yeah, everything's right to cut
Okay.
it. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, so now I know this is the direction. All right, now what we're going to do is we're just going to lay this right into that spot. You see how it fits right in there? It fits right in there. You can see it's perfect. And if you want, you can tape it down. So again, that makes it easier for some people to tape it down. So you're going to make sure that you've got the right side. You know, and if you can't get your flower to fit, it's possibly that you've got your embossing folder in your hand backwards. You know, like you're holding it this way and it's not fitting. All right, and then once, you can almost feel it sink in there. Like I could press my fingers and sink it into the design. And then you could just put a little tape on it to hold it into place. And then again, turning it back to 2D and then up to 3. I'll send it through again. Now what's fun about this design is having this single one. This actually helps to tape it on because then it helps pull it out of the hole because it does sink all the way down in there. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, I love it. All right, so I'm going to gently pull this pixie tape off. And then what's cool about this, having this, and a nice way to use it, of course you can stencil it, you can color it. But let's say, you know, you had this design, pretend this word wasn't here yet, right? You can pop this up on top. So you could have one of these being dimensional. And it just gives it a little bit of interest. Maybe you just color this one and everything else is just white and soft in the background and you add just a little color to this one. But you could pop that up on your design. So if you did it with the Poly-Glaze, you could pop it up. I don't think the Poly-Glaze is going to work though with that single die, and I'll tell you why. Because the Poly-Glaze has the outline, you see that? And so you'd end up cutting off a lot of the gold, or whatever color foil you decided to use. But this would work great with popping this on top of anything that you colored like this, you know, and if you had it, I gotta find the right direction here. Here we go. You know, if you had that one colored, maybe brighter than the rest or something, you could just pop it up on top. So, and then of course you could do a whole bunch of these. And you could make a wreath, or you could make a half wreath, or you could make a cluster. So you know how we sell die sets that are just leaves and greenery? You guys probably have those in your collection, dies that are just leaves and greenery. You could have just the single, one-dimensional, two-dimensional, plain leaves in the background, and then pop up these three-dimensional flowers on top. So like this is a whole other world, just being able to do this with the single die. So hopefully that helps. Now, I'm going to cut these two words out real quickly before we move on so that we can get to the coloring stencils, because that is, oh, did I not put the foil on here right? Well, it's going to have to be good enough. It missed right there, but that's okay. So let's find the word sending. I think this is the word sending. Yes, it is. You know, all the tips and tricks, whenever I do videos that have tips and tricks, yes, the videos go a little bit longer, but that's because we've got so much to cover. So hopefully this is helpful. Sending, okay, you. Yeah, I could have taken time to figure this out beforehand. Oh, there we go. I nailed it. Thank goodness. Be standing here for 2 hours trying to figure out which die works. I always tell everybody, you know, I should practice what I preach because I'm bad at that. I tell everybody, oh, here's what you should do, and then I don't do it myself. But what you should do to avoid what just happened to me is lay your dies in the same configuration as the stamp set. and then it's easy to figure out which die is what word, because they all look the same. Back to die cut, back to center. Hi, Megan Andrew. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. Megan Andrew and I went live on my channel last week, so if you missed that, check that out. That was a fun live. We made some masculine cards out of the tool set that comes in this kit, and that was a super fun video, a super fun afternoon getting to spend it with Megan Andrew. She is very talented and a lot of fun to hang out with. Okay, so I can put this away for a little bit because we're going to get to stenciling. So I was thinking, since I already have a pink card, I was thinking maybe I could use blues today, right? That would work. And let me get my little sticky mat. So I'm going to use the sticky mat for this because I think it will be a little bit easier than just taping things down. And then where's the little white one that I just did? Should I use that one or this one? I want to make sure that I can cut this out. You know what? Since I'm going to make a an A2 card today, I'm going to emboss one more. And I'm going to emboss it in the size that I want it to be. So I know this is good because you guys asked, somebody asked, can you show us on an A2 card? And I think this is a good little technique to show. So I'm going to cut this down to 4 by 5 1/4. Okay. Now, let's say I wanted to cut this out with Master Layouts 2. If I wanted to do that, it would be a good idea for me to cut it out first before I emboss it, right? Because I don't want to smash it down. But I think I'm not going to cut it out with a die. I'm just going to cut it out with a paper cutter. So I'll be okay. I won't do much smashing. Maybe I'll cut it right to size. We'll just go right to size. So I think I'll do 3 3/4 by 5. That'll be my finished size. Okay. 3 3/4 by 5. Now I'm going to emboss it with the folder before I do the coloring stencils because that's going to help me see exactly where I need to stencil. If you use the coloring stencils first, it's not going to line up. It's not going to line up perfectly. So make sure that you do the embossing first. Then you're going to be able to see where the stencil needs to go. And I think Megan did a great demonstration with this. All right, so I'm going to decide where I want this to go and where I want the flowers to be on my A2 size card. So like, you know, you don't want to go down here and cut the top of that flower off. I definitely want the top of that flower. And I think I'm going to have the whole thing come in from the side like that. So we get like most of that leaf. We get all of that flower, we get all of this flower, and then it's kind of cut off over here. I think that's the way I want to do it. But you do it any way you want. This is just an idea I have in my brain. So 2D, turn the dial loose to 3. Now, the cracking, you might get less cracking if you only turn the dial, looser, like to 4. But it might not be as deep embossing, so you kind of have to see. Leslie, you're RVing right now? How fun! Okay, so there we go. Now you can see, yep, there's a little bit of cracking in there, but it's so minor that it's not that big of a deal to me. And I still think your eye is going to be drawn to the flowers. And people say, you know, if I spray it first, and we can try it, let's see. Let's experiment together. Let's spray it with water first and see if that takes away that cracking. Because some people really swear by that. And maybe that's the ticket. Maybe I'm missing out on the ticket here. So I got my water bottle here.
Gives it character.
It gives
Character.
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 Got it. All right, let's see. Will I get that whole leaf in there? I don't have to get the whole bottom leaf. I just want to get those flowers in there. All right, got it in there, and here we go. Okay, let's see, maybe this is the ticket. Hey, that looks pretty good. Just a tiny little bit of cracking here on the side, but that looks pretty good. I like that. But now I want it to dry. I want it to be perfectly dry for this card. So I would let it sit for a minute if you do the spray technique, just to make sure it's not wet, because the ink will take differently on the wet cardstock than the dry cardstock. And there's going to be parts that are dry and parts that are damp, humid. So I think I might use the other one that has the little bit of cracking, because it doesn't bother me that much. All right, I'm going to put this on my sticky mat, and then I'm going to get the stencils. So this is a pretty extensive stencil set. It's got a lot of different layers. And you can do these stencils in a couple different ways. Now, when these were designed, they were designed to have a stencil that will stencil just the full flowers if you just wanted to do them all one color. You don't need to use this stencil if you don't want to. That's just for that purpose. You will notice that when you do these two layers together, you get certain petals and certain petals, but when you do them together, the whole flower gets filled in as well. So I don't want to just fill in the whole flower. If you wanted to do, like, this would be great if you wanted to do that delicata gold ink technique, or the white, sponge dauber technique that we went over in the beginning. Because this just gives you the whole flower, right? So you don't have to worry about the different layers. That's perfect for this. But we don't need to do that today, because we're going to be doing the separate parts in separate colors. So I am going to line up just the top flower. I'm just doing the top flower. Maybe I could do the two of them. Let's see here. It's not bad. But these stencils are made to like wrap around the flower a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to start up here. Now I'm going to start with, it's hard for me to see because I've got this light blaring in my eyes and this is white. All right, that makes it better for me. All right, I'm going to start with a blue. So I'm going to do, get my blending brush here. I am going to do not powder blue. I'm going to do blue sky. I'm going to start with blue sky. And you can use either a big blending brush or you can use a smaller blending brush. And I think I'm going to use a smaller blending brush for this. This way I can really be careful about where I'm blending. And I'm going to blend a little heavier down at the base, and then I'm going to get lighter as I go up. All right. So I'm starting right here. And I'm going to get just paler as I go up. Just a light fade. All right. Okay. Now I want to make sure that this is positioned well over this one. Look how pretty that is. Oh, that's gorgeous. And you can look at it and then you can say, oh, well, maybe I'll go a little heavier right near the top here. Just being careful not to get on this because I didn't mask it off with anything. All right, there we go. See that? Okay. Now I'm going to make sure that this one is lined up over here. Looks good. And I'm going to do the same thing. A little bit heavier at the bottom and then lighter as I get to the top. So the blues are definitely my new favorite. I know that I'm a turquoise girl, but these blues are just spectacular. Okay. Now I gotta look at that. Looks good. Now I want to line this one up and make sure this looks pretty even. Looks good. I'm just going to do this for all the petals. So Tom,
Hey.
while I am blending these petals out, you want to do your word of the day?
Quick question before.
Okay.
Where did you get the round stamp pad holder, the storage?
This?
No, the storage, the round.
Oh, stampandstorage.com. I'll be adding that to my things I love on my blog. Stampandstorage.com. They're an amazing company.
Okay. Time for words of the day?
Okay, but wait, I have to say it's stamp storage. It's not stamp and storage. It's stamp storage. So just stamp and then the N storage.
Okay. Everybody got that?
Yes.
Okay. So we got a three-fer word of
Okay.
the day. An unholy trilogy of Trinity of whatever. Because they just were related. So, and in the last live we did, we kind of started the theme of social media.
Oh,
We were
yeah.
talking about that, and that was that word of the day was irrelevanting.
Right.
So continuing that theme, one of the common elements of being online is you come in contact with the algorithm. Algorithms, they control what you see, and so you come across a few different algorithms that we've identified. And so, for instance, when you keep seeing posts that try to sell you food, and they're very good at it, you're seeing a chalgorithm. That's a chalgorithm, and they're tough to get away from. Usually have to, for some reason, go into the kitchen to get
Yeah.
away from.
The way to get rid of them.
And then if for some reason inappropriate things just start popping up. There's falgorithms.
Yes.
You're in the falgorithm. And then if there's stuff that just keeps coming up that you were interested in, but you can't like buy it right now, that is the not now algorithm. Just not now, maybe later, not now algorithm. So 3-fer words
That's
of the
awesome.
day. Back to the dead space.
Oh, I feel like we could take this in so many directions. That's great. That's great. They're great words of the day. Okay, well now I'm going to the next stencil, so I'm going to do this flower, and my color is powder blue, so I'm going a little bit deeper. Oh my god, that was funny. Very good.
And the cabinets in your workspace are from IKEA?
Yep, from IKEA. Do you know the name of this cabinet, Tom?
Haugen?
Is that what it is?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I forget.
Something Uten, yeah. Something like that.
I don't know, but I've got
You got the marks to show for
cut
it.
knuckles.
Oh, man. Okay, so now I've got that second blue on there. Ooh, that's pretty. I love these blues. Okie dokie. The next one. I don't need that anymore. I was just worried about myself up there at the top of the card. So this is powder blue. Did we like not put a shelf in or something because of the Stampin' Storage thing?
Yes, we were a bit creative with the shelving options.
I don't think we did all the shelves. I think we left one out. I just kind of liked the look of that. It just was nice. Okay.
Yeah, we actually are big fans of the IKEA products.
I love IKEA.
They go together very well.
They do.
In I don't know if I've gotten better at it or they've gotten better at it, but it's gotten better.
They're good. I mean, it's very rare that, you know, you go to put something together and something's missing, or I think they do a really good job. Although I don't know, because you put everything together and I just supervise from the other room. I appreciate you, Tom. All right, so powder blue. What other color should we mix in here with the blues? Because we can do the centers of these flowers. What's really neat, the way these stencils are designed, is it blocks off the center, which I think is really cool. A lot of the flowers that I've designed along the way, this, you know, the color would go into the center, but this gets blocked off. So you can see I'm just shifting these stencils exactly where I need them to be for each of these flowers. And I'm using a smaller brush, which gives me a little bit more control. These are our small blending brushes. We have the small, the large, and the detail, which are really tiny. But this is nice because it's still a fluffy brush, but it allows you to just work in smaller areas. You feel like you can get a little more control when you're blending colors that way. Look at that. Really pretty. Okay, so that's layer 2. And I'm just cleaning these stencils with alcohol as I go. Now, layer 3 is just the insides of the flowers and the stems. So, I'm going to do the insides of the flowers first, and then I'm going to line up the stems. So what color should we do for the inside? I feel like we should stick with the blues, but maybe we should do something like ocean mist. Get a little bit of a turquoisey feel in there. Why not? Let's do it. Now I'm going to use a different brush for this. I think I'm going to use a detail brush. This will be nice. And I'm going to just kind of go in the center, go in one direction, and then I'm going to go in the other direction just to pick up a little bit of that color on both sides. Kind of gets the, you know, sometimes when you just go in one direction, one side looks a little too white. This gives you more of that color. I think that'll make the center glow a little bit. Ooh, yeah. And again, I'm going to take like good high quality pictures of these cards, and I'll post them on my YouTube posts tab and also in our Facebook group. Might be a good time to tell people about our Facebook group, Tom. We have a very active, fun Facebook group, and we would love you to become a member over there. It's called Gina K Designs and Stamp TV Friends. So if you are interested, come on over. We've got a couple of security questions that we ask, and the security questions are like, how long have you been stamping? What's your favorite technique? Just to prove that you're not like a robot or a weird spammer. And then we would love to have you join us. There's group rules that you can scan through, read them, and then if you agree to them, join and one of our moderators will approve you. We're pretty quick. But it's a great place to see card ideas using Gina K Designs products. So if you've, purchased this kit and you want to see what other people are doing with it, always after every video, I post everything that I do over there. So it's a fun group and it's a very supportive group. So if you're a newer crafter and you want to share what you've been making, they will love what you do and they will give you lots of encouragement, which is really great to have when you're new. And also, like if you have questions like, I don't know what to do with this card, what should I do to make it more vibrant, or I feel like it's not finished, people give you ideas. And so it's just a great place. I love going there. It's kind of like one of the only places I go anymore when I go on Facebook. I just go to our group. It's my little home away from home. Now, you know what I'm going to do here? Just because I feel like it, I'm going to add just a little bit of teal in here. I'm going to just do a little bit of Tranquil Teal, but just in the center, just a tiny little bit, just because I want to like darken it up a little bit near the root. And once this dries, it'll be very smooth. But I feel like that's just going to help a little bit. Okay. Look how pretty that is. Those colors are nice together, right? Fun. Okay. Now, we can color the centers of the flowers if we want. What's nice is the center is a separate stencil. So we could leave them white. If you like the look of the white, we could leave them white, or we could just go right in with another color. And I think I'm going to go in with another color, and I think I'm going to do like a yellow, because it's cool that you can do the center lighter because of the way these stencils are designed. So let's do a little bit of butterscotch, shall we? We'll do the stamen or the center of the flower with a little butterscotch. Let me put this brush back. My little home studio here is so tiny that I have to clean up. It forces me to clean up as I go, which is nice. Okay, just a little bit in there.
And if you keep getting ads and posts...
Oh no, he's back.
for something that you bought 2 weeks ago...
Yeah. What is that?
Then you're in the middle of a stale-algorithm.
I love it. Oh my gosh. Okay, check that out. Isn't that pretty? Whew. Okay, now we're going to go back and do the stems because I forgot to do the stems, and we're going to pick a color for those. Let's go with the spruces for this because I feel like, we can kind of stick with those blue greens. A stale algorithm. It's good, Tom. These are good words. If you think of any more, just jump in. Okay. Oh gosh. Brianne, I forgot my inkstand. One day I was like crafting with some friends and I forgot my inkstand and I didn't even know how to ink blend. The thing was moving all over the place and I was getting ink all over my fingers, and God bless you, girlfriend, for inventing these things. They're amazing. Okay. So... Oh, this is very hard for me to see with the light in my eyes. I think I'll just do these. I can kind of feel it through there. So we'll just do a little bit coming down. Even if it's not perfect, it will be better than horrible, and that's all that matters. But not bad. Not bad.
You are in kind of a blue-algorithm.
A blue. I am.
With your blues. This looks amazing.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I do.
That should be close.
But I'll stop.
Okay, so now I've got my stems on there. See them in there? Now let's add our leaves. I kind of like them just white too. I thought it was cool with just the white leaves, but that's just, you know, just a thought in there. Okay, here we go. Looks pretty good. All these leaves I think will be fine to do at once. Maybe. We'll see.
I wonder if anyone out there ever made a card so beautiful that you just wanted to frame it and put it up on the wall.
I bet they have. I've seen cards that they've made that I would frame and put up on a wall.
They certainly are that good.
Yeah, they are. Tom goes into our group sometimes, guys. You don't know this, but Tom goes into our group sometimes, and he'll come back and he'll say, oh my gosh, Gina, did you see the card that Karen made? Did you see the card that Sandy made? Did you see the card? He thinks your cards are gorgeous, don't you?
I rather enjoy them.
All right, so there we go. I'm going to pull this off, and there we, let's see if that will catch. There we go. Pretty, huh?
Now they're jumping off the page.
They are. And they literally are because they're three-dimensional. So they are jumping off of that flat one dimension. Okay, so now we've got that pretty little panel, and we are going to add it to a card base. And this card will be done in just a hot minute here. So, like I said, the extra stencil that you see here is good for some of those other techniques. I'll tell you other techniques that you can do with these. You can use stuff like Glitz Glitter Gel or Simon Hurley Solar Paste and put that right on there and take your solar paste and kind of go in there without going outside of the lines. You can, you know, use any kind of inks or any kind of, some of those, I forget what that stuff was called, but you guys remember the little pots? They were just little pans of shiny stuff, and it was like a paste. It was a metallic something. I can't remember what they were called. I mean, I've been doing YouTube videos now for, I don't know, 18 years or something, and it was like way back then when I first started, and we all had them. I don't even know that they make them anymore, but dig through your stuff. You probably have them somewhere. You could use something like that and just get a little bit of shine on there. You could even use things like your stickles and just tap your finger in there. But if you use that stencil, it kind of blocks everything off so you don't get it in places you don't want it. All right, let's do a black panel here. I've got a little piece of black. So this was 3 3/4. I just want to make sure. Yep, okay. So we're going to go just a little bit bigger than the 3 3/4. We're going to go to 3 7/8. Now remember, you could do this with Master Layouts 1 too. So we could have pre-cut these panels with Master Layouts 1 and it'd be the exact same measurements. And then 5 1/8. Okay. And that's going to give us that nice little shadow layer. That, I don't know what happened down there, so let's try that again. 5. Maybe I cut this wrong, so we'll see. Now watch it be too small. Nope, that's good. Okay. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit now because I'm 5 miles out. Twinkling H2Os, yes, Momo Fugate. That would be great. That would be great. Yeah, even watercolor. Like if you wanted to watercolor over them, but you wanted to kind of like contain things a little bit, you definitely could do that. So, okay. But I love the little yellow centers on these flowers. They're so delicate. And you could definitely do the same kind of framing thing that I did on the big card. You would use Master Layouts. I have that Master Layout set right here. It would be Master Layouts 18 would give you the same frame for A2 cards as this look for a 5x7 card. So this is the A2 version of Master Layouts 20, is Master Layouts 18. So if you're looking for that kind of thing, you could definitely do it. I did not cut this right. So here we go. Oh my gosh, it's gonna stick to my paper cutter. Oh yeah, I can see that I did not cut that right. You know, it's always something. I'm gonna do it without the guard, so I don't smash anything down. There we go. I don't recommend you doing that. You should always keep your guard on your paper cutter. This is a great example of why the Master Layout sets are so good, because look at all that, and it's still crooked, but it will never be crooked with the Master Layouts. Perfect pearls, Vicky. That is a great idea. That wasn't what I was thinking, but now that you say it, that's another great thing to use. Perfect pearls, you could use it with a little bit of embossing ink, like Versamark, and that would be fantastic. That would look great. But it was they were little pans of metallic paste is what they were. They were a metallic paste, but I can't think of what they were called. If I think about it, I'll share it in the group, or somebody will probably share it and say, I know what Gina was talking about, and they'll share the name of it. But they came in almost like a little paint container, and there was like a gold, a silver, a copper, some different things like that. Now, I did have a card base here that I had pre-cut, but I don't know where it went, in the blue. So we can always cut another one. So what color do we use? Should we go with the blue sky? Or let's just look at Butterscotch, because, you know, I have a thing about that Butterscotch center, and it might really make the blue pop. So we got to at least look at it. See, doesn't that make the centers just pop out of the flower there? And then we can look at Ocean Mist. Let's look at Ocean Mist. All right, Tom, you got to help with this one. So here's Ocean Mist.
So yellow would be too yellow?
Yellow wouldn't be too yellow if we use the right yellow, like sweet corn. I think we could probably use sweet corn. Is this sweet corn? I think this is sweet corn. Okay, I see like everybody's like blue, 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 blue. You were leaning towards the Butterscotch though, weren't you? Because you love orangey colors.
Well, I was going to suggest some other colors too that I'm glad I didn't.
No, go ahead. Suggest.
No, as you were.
Okay, well, one other thing I want to just look at is soft stone. And the reason why is because soft stone might like, I don't know. It just made my day dreary when I saw soft stone. And I love soft stone, but I don't know. It felt a little dreary doing that. The other thing that we could look at, just humor me, is just a white card base. We could look at that. Do you guys like just a white card base? Kathi likes Butterscotch, Kathi Z. And she is the design queen. So, Kathi, do you see what I see when I look at butterscotch? How it like brings the centers of the flowers out more? You just see more of the center? Butterscotch makes the blues pop. It's true. Okay, show Ocean Mist again. All right, one more time with Ocean Mist. Oh, I do like that, though. I do like Ocean Mist, I have to say. There's like way more blue people here than butterscotch people. So I am right in the middle. I honestly really do like both. So I'm going to humor myself here. I'm going to go with the Ocean Mist. And the reason why I'm going to go with the Ocean Mist is because I feel like it is the most popular one in the chat. And also, I don't know. I do like the butterscotch though. So maybe I should later make another card using the butterscotch just so I can have one of each. But we'll go with the Ocean Mist just because I feel like it was the most popular. I think Blue Sky was a little bit bright. And the Ocean Mist doesn't take away from the blues. But the butterscotch definitely makes the blues pop. So we have choices. We have options. There we go. I think that's going to do it. And I think we got to add just a few of these little holographic, not holographic, or maybe we should just use the flat ones. I'll use some of the flat sequins. I'm really digging the flat little crystal clear ones, and they're not all flat in here. We've got some flowers too, but the real little ones are flat. So, oh wait, we are using a gold greeting. Sending you a long distance hug. So maybe I should use some gold pearls. And we've got gold centers of the flowers. So, all right, this is for another day. Let me just move these out of the way. This is for another day, but I do like, I'll show them to you again because they are so nice and flat. So I think I'll pop up this greeting with some foam squares. Yes, definitely. We can try, that's a great point. People said we can try butterscotch on our own cards when we make them. Exactly. And I can try butterscotch on another card that I make. That's the beauty, guys. Once you have the folder, you can make as many of these as you want. And honestly, I think you're going to want to try to make that pink one too, because that pink, the one with the carnations, is so pretty. And Kathi Z, you did a video with this folder, didn't you? And Megan Andrew did a video with this folder, and Mindy Egan did a video with this folder. So you gotta check out what they did too, because everybody uses different colors and different things, and you'll be able to see some really, really beautiful stuff that will inspire you, because those ladies are really amazing. They've got great talent. So, you know, what I'm doing today is just one of a million ideas. Karen Hightower in our group, she did a gorgeous card with this folder. And now that some of the people have gotten their orders, you know, the people that were there at 1 minute to 7 and put their order in before they even knew what they were ordering, those people, they already got their orders and they're starting to share their beautiful cards using this kit too. So you can really see a lot of different things going on with this if you join our group. Okay, so I've got that little bit of gold in there, so I'm going to add a few little gold elements, a few little gold pearls. These are turtles on their back all the time. Let's see. Love that. I think I'm going to do like a few more than I would normally do. I feel like I should put one in here. somewhere. Just kind of going down like that. I think I'll do that. Okay. Now, while I'm gluing these on, I want to talk about, just for anybody that joined us late and you didn't hear about it, I'm teaching a class and I would love you to join me. This class is going to be on the Simon Says Stamp YouTube channel. I just tested this earlier. It's going to be on the Simon Says Stamp YouTube channel, and it is going to be on June 20th. So while I'm putting these on, Tom, why don't you show them the graphic, because all the sneaks of the kit are in there. There's a kit that you can get. The class is free, so you can take the class, and there's lots of ideas that are going to be shared in the class. But then if you want to make exactly what I'm making, you can pick up the additional kit, and it is called Bold Blooms. It's got a big stamp set. It's got a big die set, all D-tab dies, which you know we love those. It's got an extra cover plate in there. You can see that cover plate hiding under that red blending brush. It's got 4 brand new Gina K Designs ink colors that are not yet released, and they're not going to be released like right away because we're waiting for coordinating cardstock to come in for it. So if you want the inks early, you get them in the kit, which is pretty cool. It's got, I said, the 7 blending brushes. Did I say that already? It's got a Connect glue in there. It's got a positively everything tool, which I will be using for my tidy towel. What else does it have in there? It's got embellishments. It's got pretty much everything that you need, all the cardstock, everything to make all the cards that we're going to be making. And then the next day, Kathy Zilski and Nicole Spohr are going to have additional videos inspiring you with more things that you can make. And I'll have, other than the 3 projects we're going to make, a few extra cards. So you're going to get a lot of inspiration out of that. So go over to the Simon Says Stamp website, simonsaystamp.com. Check out the kit if you'd like to get the kit. It's really a great deal. The kit's valued at over $150. And there's foam squares in there. There's literally everything you need except maybe like a MISTI and, you know, your paper cutter and stuff. And then join us on June 20th for the class. You'll get your kit in plenty of time as long as you order it soon. And yeah, I'll see you over there for that. I'm very excited about it. All right, let's take a look at this card now. Here is the finished card. There we go, with the sending you a long distance hug. And so that's one card idea, and I'll pull out the other cards. Here's the pink card, the 5x7. Here is what the embossed foil looks like, the Poly-Glaze. Here is just a white on white with those flat sequins I was talking about. I love this look. That's so elegant and so easy, right? No coloring or anything. One more time, we'll take a look at what it looks like with a little bit of paste or ink. This is Delicata metallic ink on top of there. You can certainly do that. And then we've also got it on metallic cardstock, so you can see what that looks like. Yeah. So those are some ideas. Remember, you can always make A2 cards. You can make those A6 cards, which is just a little bigger than an A2. 5x7, these are also great for slimline cards. You can cut that off and have it coming in on the side. You can have other ones coming in on the top like that. So many ideas. And I hope that you learned a little bit about how to use a 3D embossing folder today using the Gina K Designs Intracut. And definitely experiment with your other die cutting machines, and I know you're going to get beautiful results. All right, everybody. Well, this was so much fun. I am so glad that you joined Tom and I today for this fun live. Tom and I will be back next Tuesday night with another Stampin' Chat Live, and we hope you'll join us there. Brianne, big shout out to you for linking everything for us, but if you missed any of Brianne's links, you can find them on our website at ginakdesigns.com. Just click that ginakdesigns.com link. Well, I don't think we have it up, but I'll put it in the description. Well, it's in the description now. You'll be able to find everything that we used, and you can always, just know we've got other embossing folders coming this year. We're very excited. We are going to give away a $15 gift card today. So Tom, are you ready for that?
Ready, ready. Here we go.
All right, let's do it.
Drum roll. And today's winner is Kathi Gollwitzer. Kathi Gollwitzer.
Kathi! Congratulations, Kathi. You are our winner. All you have to do is send your name and email address to info@ginakdesigns.com, and we will get your digital gift card out to you. All right. Like I said, Tom and I will be back next Tuesday night with another Stampin' Chat Live. And in the meantime, y'all stay safe and healthy. We love you so very much. And we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.